You're just like, you look at what they're making and you look what you're making and you're just like, I think what I'm making looks a little cooler.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, they got the golden touch. They got the Illuminati push. You know what I mean?
Bigspin Podcast, Fingerboard Podcast. I am your host, FB.Christopher, or if you ask pretty much anyone, I'm Facebook Chris at this point. You are you, and today I am here with Mike, OG Fingers, slinging Crete out the high desert since, are we 2016? There we go. Dude, see, I had it right.
Definitely.
There we go. Did my research. Real quick, talk to me about the drive. 2 hours for the pod.
Well, growing up, I'm just kind of used to that drive. My dad, he was a Marine, so we end up growing up out in the desert, but he's from Westminster.
Okay, so not too far.
So it's about always a 2 hour drive, yeah.
That's nuts. That's why when I was thinking about it, I was when I told you, I was like, yo, you down to come to Whittier? And you're like, yeah. Thought to myself, like, hopefully he has other plans. I feel bad he's driving 2 hours for the pod.
Well, I used to stay in Pico Rivera all the time for when I used to go to Rams games. And
there you go.
Comedy Store, my little cheap hotels in Pico Rivera.
Damn, hanging out
Whittier Boulevard.
I was about to say, slumming in Pico, huh?
I mean, it was cool.
I like it. Are you typically like, did you spend a lot of time even like here in Whittier?
Not much. I mean, I would just kind of like go around and hit up spots.
Okay,
there's like this one place I'd always go to, like the teriyaki spots, like chopped teriyaki and a couple other ones.
Damn, so you really doing all the spots.
So, I mean,
hey, man.
You go to chopped teriyaki?
Come on now. Stop playing with me. All right, let's do this. Obviously, we want to talk about your Crete and stuff like that. And then, and one more thing I think that I wasn't expecting so much when I was doing the stuff for the pod, but I realized like you were kind of like a part of one of the many golden eras of like fingerboarding. Like you were there. I was looking at some of your event stuff, and I think you've sent me stuff before, and you were like at the Beast Pants events. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I pretty much.
Dude, so we're going to get into all that. Let's start here. Where are you from? What was it like growing up there?
Well, I'm from 29 Palms, California. It was a small military town, so it was pretty diverse with, different cultures. I was a kid in the 80s, so, I mean, obviously when you're a young kid in the 80s, Michael Jackson and
hell yeah,
Mr. T and Hulk Hogan are like your heroes.
There you go.
But, yeah, I mean, it was for the most part just, growing up, small town, military type situation where friends would come and go.
Right, with all the movie and stuff like that. Did you move a lot when you were a kid, or that was like the home base?
No, my dad ended up getting out when I was probably like 2 or 3 when he got out of the military, and we just kind of stuck around the town.
Okay.
Because my mom, she grew up there. Her dad was a Marine also, so we just he met my mom there, and we just kind of stayed.
Kind of stuck around? Mm-hmm. Hell yeah. Growing up there, is there like a skate scene? Is that something you kind of were a part of early on, or what was that like? Well,
there's a town next to it called Yucca Valley.
Yeah.
And when I was like 8 or 9 years old, they had like a Vision Streetwear skate like demo.
Yeah.
And they had like Mark Gonzalez come out. And ironically, that was like the same day I got like my first skateboard and my first fingerboard.
Same day
because Vision was there and they had like the Vision Streetwear keychains.
Oh, the plastic ones.
Yeah, so we'd get those and we'd like to take the keychain off and you just like shred them in the sinks. Just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, shred them in the
like
bowls.
Bonuses and stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
And then the funny thing that day that there was a lady and she was like, she pulls up in this like raggedy old van, like this like 70s van. She's like, hey, can you move those shopping carts? I'm trying to park. I'm like, huh? She's like, I'll give you a skateboard. And
no way.
I fucking pushed all these carts out of the way, excuse my language. And she was like, she handed me like this old like Pal Parata, like just old school, like just kind of like flat deck board.
No shit.
I don't even know if it was real or not, but it was like, it said Pal Parata, had the dragon on the back. And that was like the first board I got. And that was that day at the skate demo. And it was kind of a dated board. It was more like a late 70s board than for the time, you know what I mean? But I was like, hey, I'm in the scene. I'm in here now.
I was about to say, man, that's great. Do you still have that board?
No, unfortunately.
Damn.
I think I lost it and my parents put stuff in storage or something at one point.
Dude, I feel like so many guys like around our age are kind of like all have the story about like losing shit in storage.
Yeah, my parents, when I got a little like 11 or 12, they had some minor problems and they had to put some stuff in storage here and there.
Hell yeah. As far as for like, and the reason I asked you about skateboarding is because I feel like for a lot of us, like skateboarding is that gateway into fingerboarding. So I think it's interesting that like yours kind of like hit you all at once. You know what I mean? It was like the vision event, got the vision board, got the vision fingerboard.
Yeah, it was like just a full day. I mean, they had like Mark Gonzalez doing the demo there that day. I didn't even know who any of these people were when I was a little kid. And I remember we got the keychains and like everybody at school, like, because it's a small town, you know, so there was like a lot of friends that had them. We were just like shredding them on our desk and stuff. But at that time, you're not doing like, you know, real tricks. You're just kind of just yeah. You would like act like you're doing the movement of like actual skateboarding, but you weren't like, you know, you're not doing kickflips.
That's my thing is when I kind of think back to when I was introduced to tech decks, it was a lot of like that where it was like I got them because like I recognized the graphics like from Tony Hawk, and it was one of those things where it never occurred to me that you can like do tricks on them. So I was very much like that, cruising around the desk, maybe hit like a slappy on a binder or something, but it was never like, oh, we are supposed to do tricks.
Yeah.
So it's wild to look back and see videos, you know, like of different tech deck events back in the day, and see people just going nuts on tech decks.
Yeah, pretty much. I had a friend of mine who was like a pro tech decker, like back in like the late 90s. He was like also like some raver, but he was like one of the first people that introduced me to actually doing real tricks, because when I first got into tech decks, it was like right when they came out, and I was like a petitioner. Like I would sit in front of grocery stores and ask people to sign initiatives and stuff.
Okay.
So I'd always be like at a Walmart or a Target asking people to sign petitions, and I would go inside, just bored, take breaks, and then like I was looking at the toy section one day and I was like, whoa, little mini skateboards.
Little tech decks.
You know what I mean? And it's like, I haven't seen those since the keychain era.
Hell yeah. And we'll get to the Crete and everything like that, but I wanted to ask, growing up, were you always like very DIY as far as like building stuff with your hands, very creative type? I mean, because to kind of, you know, get into the whole Crete and stuff like that, I kind of feel like you have to have that personality.
Well, when I got out, or when my dad got out of the Marines, he got into construction. So we always had tools around, you know?
Yeah.
So we'd always build like, you know, we'd build like small skateboard ramps, like kicker ramps and little launch ramps and stuff.
Okay.
And then I had this woodshop teacher in 8th grade who had us build like little mini houses.
Yeah.
About the size that would be like for, you know, fingerboarding or stuff. And that was like kind of, during that 8th grade, we ended up just started like making fingerboards as well.
Yeah.
But we weren't pressing the wood. We were just like taking wood that was already pressed and just sanding it on the sander, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we would take like the trucks from the plastic skateboards.
Yeah.
And then we would just cut them off and like crazy glue them onto the wood. You know what I mean?
The evolution is crazy.
Yeah, that teacher was crazy. I ended up seeing him on a talk show. Like I went to school all year, and then I seen him. No, he was on like that Sally Jesse Raphael. Like he literally like disappeared for like a week. And we're like, oh, where'd he go?
And he was on a talk show.
He was on a talk show because I guess his wife got like abducted and murdered or something.
Damn, well that's...
I know, it was crazy because it's like the whole year he's our teacher, you know, just Mr. Ray, you know.
Yeah.
He's showing pictures of his like new family, and then he was just like, you see him on a talk show, and he literally, like, his wife got abducted from like a place where a doctor's office where she was getting having a baby, like, you know, when they go check on the baby.
Yeah.
And like the person like kidnapped her and stole the baby and everything, like cut it out of her. And
dude, this is about to become a true crime.
He ended up getting the baby back, and the lady went to jail, but the wife died.
Wow.
But it was pretty crazy.
Yo, this is almost going to be a true crime podcast.
But I mean, he was my inspiration of building. That's my inspiration right there, Mr. Ray, 8th grade woodshop.
There you go. As far as for transitioning from skateboarding to fingerboarding, let's talk about skateboarding a little bit. Obviously, I know that it sounded like that lady gave you a skateboard, and then you got the other skateboard from the event. But do you recall like your first like moment where you're like, yo, I want a skateboard? Was it that event, or what was it?
Well, at that event, I got that skateboard, and I remember going home and like bombing a hill and like just mashing my forehead and like just eating it real bad. And I was just like, I don't know if this is really for me. I was like, I lived in the desert, and a lot of my friends were into BMX bikes, you know, so it was that back and forth transition between bikes and skating. And then I remember my parents ended up moving out of 29 Palms just for like a couple years. We moved to Moreno Valley. And like my little buddy that I had over there was like this little, you know, he was like a little rich kid.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was a rich kid, but he had more money than our family.
Oh, they seem like it.
Yeah. And then he got a new board for Christmas, and he kicked me down his old Vision Gator. So I used to roll that around the neighborhood all hard for about a year and a half. In those days, you had a board. That thing was with you. That wasn't just like I get a board
Hell yeah.
all the time. It's like that board's, you're having that thing for a few years. So I had that board for a couple years. And then, unfortunately, I had a friend come over one day on like a GT Performer.
No.
And once he had that old school GT Performer, I was like, oh man, I need to get that.
Done.
And then I got into bikes again for till I was about 14. And then one day, like a random buddy of mine, you ever have those friends that just love trading stuff?
Oh, hell yeah.
I don't know if they exist nowadays like they did in like the 80s and 90s, but I had this buddy. He would just call me to trade anything. He'd be like, hey, and he'd always have like new stuff to trade for old stuff. So I was just like, any trade him, it was always like, I'm always winning. So he called me up. He's like, I got this brand new skateboard. And he's like, I don't use it. I don't know what I was thinking. He said, do you have anything to trade for it? So I was like, I got some CDs. CDs are hot in those days.
CDs are hot.
So it was like I had a bunch of CDs I got from, you never do like that, back in the TV guide era, they used to be like, get 8 CDs for a penny.
Yeah.
So like I put like my mom's name or like my dad's name and just get all these like weird CDs to come in the mail. So
yeah,
I ended up trading them like, I think like Stone Temple Pilots and like a bunch of Metallica CDs for a skateboard.
That's wild. I feel like you're
and then it was just like straight up after that, I was just like, oh yeah, back to skateboarding.
Hell yeah. I feel like you're aging us on the pod because there's going to be people that hear that ordering fucking CDs in the mail and then be like, well, how old are these guys?
Oh yeah, you would just like fill out that little slip and just like, oh, wish for the best. You know what I mean? I was like highly addicted to filling out anything for free. Like I remember one time I signed this one thing. It was like free Mormon book or something.
Yeah.
I was like, hell, it's free. I'm gonna sign up. I signed up for it, and like I had these Mormons harassing my parents for like years because of it. They would come over like every other day and stuff.
Damn, that's wild. It's funny story. Not to sidetrack too much, but those like little mail order things, like where you would put the sticker of the CD you wanted. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. You had to get like a little sticker sheet. I remember they sent one to my mom, and without her knowing, I remember I grabbed the little like a Blink sticker and put it on there, and they send me Enema of the State. And that was my first experience with Blink and like ordering an album. I remember they kept sending her like past due bills because you remember like they would send you the CD and then bill you for it.
Oh yeah, they would send you. They'd try to ream you afterwards, but just like it'd always be like my grandma's name or someone else's name.
Oh, for sure. I remember my mom would always be like, I never ordered a CD. I don't even know who Blink-182 is.
I lived in a small town. You couldn't even buy CDs. There was like one department store, so I was just like, man,
that's
take
wild.
advantage of it,
Yeah, hell yeah. What was your just to kind of wrap up skateboarding here? What was your favorite brand at that time? Like just to give it like what was the go-to brand boards and shoes?
Probably like old school, just like when DC came out. I was really into DC, old school Americas. Vans, always Vans. You know what I mean?
Give us like a walkthrough.
I rocked a lot. Because I had like a lot of early 2000s and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Give us a walkthrough.
Pro setup when I like actually had money to buy a board when I was younger. I'd get like a Plan B with like some Spitfires and some Indies. Maybe probably some Grind Kings. When Grind Kings came out, I was like, oh boy, I'm getting these.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Like state of the art at the time.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So, and then I probably skated till about using like good stuff till about 18, and then I moved to Portland, Oregon for a couple years, and I was just like skated 3 days, and it was like nonstop rain, and I was like, oh yeah, I just went from a nice crisp desert board that was dry that had tons of snap. Now my board just feels like a wet log.
Yeah, waterlogged.
You know what I mean? So after that, it was all about the 8.25 Pal Blanks, the green one.
Yeah,
I think that's the only board I bought for like 5 years. I was just like
a bunch of blanks.
Just the Pal Blank. Just go buy some cool stickers from the skate shop, slap it up. Pal Blank it is.
Damn, man, that's crazy. Were the Tony Hawk games? Were you a big Tony Hawk guy?
Oh yeah, so I remember when they first came out. It was like what, PlayStation
1.
Yeah, PlayStation 1. That was also when I got that game, and I got like the original not Grand Theft Auto 1, but 2, not the Grand Theft Auto 3 that came out for PlayStation. But
yeah,
I remember buying those games like that same week and just like
vegging out on it.
Oh, dude, hardcore veg.
Yeah, that game was life changing. I remember I did a totally random. It's like I feel like we're talking. I feel like because we're from the same era, like so much shit's like popping in my head. But I feel like I did a commercial, super random, and I don't even know, but I just went to the store. I remember I went to Toys R Us in Montebello, and sure enough, bought a PlayStation 1 with my earnings and a copy of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1. Who was your Tony Hawk go-to person?
No, I mean, of course, at first, it's always going to be like, at that time, I was like, really into Welcome to Hell. You know what I mean? Well, Tony Hawk came out a couple years later, but like it was to be like Jamie Thomas. But I was like pretty much just down to use everybody. I was always like, oh, I need to get everybody's stats up.
Everyone's stats.
I need to like make sure I want to use everybody's special stuff.
Hell yeah.
So
did you ever like look at the character's stance and like try and pick the character that had your same stance? Like if you're a goofy or regular?
It was always just like, what skater was your favorite,
Hell yeah.
I mean, there were so many good players on that game, skaters on that game. It was just like, sadly, I probably used Tony Hawk the least, but
yeah.
Shout out Tony Hawk, but I mean,
yeah, I feel like it's one of those things where like you almost didn't pick Tony because it felt too obvious.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I was more of like a Rune Glifberg guy. I like the jersey.
Oh, Rune was cool.
Yeah, hell yeah, the little blue jersey. This time that you're and just kind of jumping around here, but as far as like in your in this time of you skateboarding, are you also actively fingerboarding too, or did that kind of fall by the wayside and it's just strictly skating, or what's fingerboarding like in your life at this
After
point?
my little run in 1992 with the woodshop teacher, Mr. Ray, we kind of just goofed around that 1 year.
Yeah.
And then kind of just fingerboards went to the side, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Didn't really think about it much. It wasn't even that serious, and even that Mr. Ray days, we were still just kind of like holding them and just, just doing whatever, not really doing real tricks. And then like I said, I discovered the tech decks from working, and then me and my friend, we went to Walmart, and I ended up just going nuts and just buying every tech deck ramp. I still have every tech deck ramp I ever bought.
Really?
I still have all the tech decks. So if you're looking for an old graphic, I might have it. I mean, unfortunately, I wish I never would have opened up, because they used to sell those big black cases.
I remember.
So I was always like, oh, I need to fill a case.
Saw that. You have
I mean?
5 or 6 of those, right?
Oh, probably like 15 of those things now.
Oh my God.
Over the years. And it's like, I've always just went like, oh, I need to fill them up. And then my friend Chris, I was like, probably that first week, he was just like, you're not tech decking right, or whatever, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's funny calling it tech decking, because I remember when I called fingerboarding tech decking, when I first got into fingerboarding, people were like, got all mad at me.
Dude, tech decking's crazy.
But
I feel like now when you do it, it's more of like a rage baiter thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He was like, yeah, we're tech decking.
But my friend Chris, he was the one that was just like, he was like ollie in and like doing kick flips and stuff. And then I would say after 6 months, I was, already doing kick flips. And in fact, I got the board.
You got the board?
Yeah.
Let's see it. A little show and tell. This might be the first on the Bigspin. Or you know what? I think Stefan on his device one showed some stuff. What is this?
Oh, I should have my glasses on. It's like Keith Hershire, I believe. Birdhouse.
Yeah, Birdhouse.
But look at that wear.
Damn. The wear's crazy. So these were, you even got the worn in like skate grip
those
on
days
there.
you didn't have the foam. We would just put real grip tape on them.
This is actually nuts. And are these original tech deck trucks? Did you paint these?
Yeah, those are tech deck trucks. They've probably been like crazy glued, the axles
did you
and the
paint
wheels.
These?
Nah.
They came like that?
Let me see.
The blue's really nice.
No, that's how they came.
Damn.
But I used to paint the trucks. You try to make your own camo.
Hell yeah.
Camo ones. And
now, when you talk about your collection, I was going to ask, you have, and again, I don't want to jump too far ahead here into like your whole fingerboarding thing, but one thing I noticed about your page is like when it starts in 2016, you're already posting absolute heaters of boards, like all the Woobs and the Beast Pants and all the Catfishes. Do you still have are all those still in your collection?
I still have a majority of my collection, but I would say half.
Okay.
Because it got to a point where I was just like, I had such a big collection. Because like when I got into like professional fingerboarding, like I was in another hobby that was like, collecting glass pendants, like the one I'm wearing now.
Okay.
And a lot of it was like through like Instagram auctions. So it was like really expensive, and I was buying a lot of them. And I remember I was getting burned out on that hobby, and then I just dove into fingerboarding. And it was just like everything, just from having an expensive collection of something else to that, it was just like, oh wow, everything's so affordable.
Yeah.
And pretty much just got lucky.
Hell yeah. Question before I forget, glass pendants. Do you wear them all the time? Like, what do you do with them? You just wear them?
Yeah, you just wear them. I mean, ironically, this is how I got into fingerboarding, is through this scene, because there was someone that collected glass art, and he was fingerboarding.
Wild.
And I called him out. I was like, oh, I used to tech deck. And that's when I got called out for being like, yo, dude, that's not tech deck.
Yeah, we don't tech deck anymore.
And his name was like Brett Maverick or something. He was like from Seattle. he kind of like a little influencer at the time for like cannabis related scene. And
Okay.
he had a buddy of his, I think his name was Vince or something, but he was sponsored by Woo. And he ended up, I was like, yo, what kind of fingerboard are you guys? Are you guys using tech decks, or is that what kind of, I didn't know. I didn't know. I was just, I went from like
using whatever.
I went from like caveman and fingerboards to just like having no clue. And this was like probably in the middle of 2015.
Okay.
And he was like, yo, dude, there's this website called Flatface. And then he told me about the Black River, Chicago at the time. This is not their store. They used to sell stuff out of Chicago.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, get this, get that. And then, in fact, I got the board here.
See it. Little magical box.
And this was my first pro setup. I had gotten like a pro, like cheap generic board before that to mess around with. But this was my first pro setup, and it's a G15 flat face with 32 Black Rivers and just flat face black wheels.
Damn, this is gnarly. Little OG finger sticker on there. Damn, the board actually held it pretty nice. Mike got that quality.
And I used that board. That was like the first pro board, and I pretty much used it for about, I would say like 4 or 5 months, 6 months before I decided to even buy another board.
Fire. Yeah. Damn, that was fire. Talk about the jump going from a tech deck to a pro board.
Oh, dude, it felt like cheat code.
Yeah.
For me, it just because I was like so used to just kickflip, dude, like doing the tricks I did on the other one, and just like the foam tape and how wide it was, the bearing wheels. I was just like, wow, this is so much easier. You know what I mean? I was like, they really developed something here.
Hell yeah. For someone listening who may still be on a tech deck, the average cost for a fingerboard now, like especially a pro deck, you're looking at like 100 to like 140. Is it worth the jump from like a $3 tech deck to like $120 setup?
I mean, you can find like I literally like got one of those Grom boards or whatever. Is that the Slush Cult?
Right.
For my daughter. And like I put the tape on it, and I mean, it felt pretty good. I thought, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, this is a very affordable board to get you started. I was just like, I mean, I don't think you need to go all the way up. In fact, I used to only buy like brand name trucks, and I'll still buy like Dynamics here and there. But like when I first started, I was like, oh, I need Black River everything. I need wide trucks. I need, and I went, it's like after you're buying like 20, 30 pairs later, and it's like, I had somebody give me some just like when the new 32 millimeter like knockoff China trucks came out.
Okay.
They gave me a set of those, and I set up, and I set it up with my same, bushings and everything I used, same wheels and stuff. And I was like, I don't feel like that big of a difference. You know what I mean? It's like, it's totally okay to use cheap trucks. In fact, it's like, if you have a lot of setups, you got a lot of boards you want to set up, it's like, feel free to buy some cheap trucks when you need to.
Hell yeah. And what's crazy is I feel like what people would refer to as like China trucks, like I feel like they're scary good now. You know what I mean?
They're pretty good.
Have you tried?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll support Dynamic.
Oh, for sure.
Made in the USA.
There's a specific company who was
at least I think it's made in the USA.
Yeah, right. There was a specific company who, and again, not to just jump around here, but there was a specific company a couple weeks or maybe a couple months ago now that was making waves in the community because they were putting out some duplicate, or not duplicate, but like some fake trucks, but they were looking exactly like Dynamics and Black River and stuff like that. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I remember.
Do you have an opinion on that? I asked.
I mean, sometimes I drink Walmart colas. Sometimes I drink, sometimes you just can't afford it, but you want something that's similar.
Damn.
It's like, obviously everybody's going to want the best stuff they can afford it, but if you can't afford it and someone's going to provide something quality that's similar, I mean, you might as well get it.
Yeah. They have
that's nothing against the, other people out there, but.
Yeah. That same company, they offered their own version. It's like a V4, something like that, or a V3. It's actually really solid. So it's just surprising that they still would offer like the, you know what I mean? Like the super like ripped off, down to the damn skull on the base plate.
Oh, I think I bought some of those.
Well, there you go.
Not from them. I had my wife give me some trucks off like Alibaba or somewhere else. You just grab me some just for personal use, and I was looking at the base plate. I was like,
for
these
research
look
purposes.
Like straight up 34 millimeter Black River trucks.
Yeah,
they had a skull, but they didn't say Black River. I was just like, wow.
Damn. Well, there you go. Research purposes. Okay, transitioning from skateboarding to fingerboarding. A question I like to ask on the pod is, if someone didn't grow up skateboarding, do you think they can fully appreciate fingerboarding?
Oh, heck yeah. I mean, I got into train sets. I'm not an engineer. You know what I mean? It's like I drive RC cars. You don't see me out there driving like off-road trucks.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's what you're into. If you enjoy it, it's what then yeah, you can get into it.
Hell yeah.
I mean, obviously you could tell when people who didn't skateboard because their tricks are just like, I'm not a big fan of anybody who does like weird floater tricks. Like I want like all tricks to be tight, just
realistic.
I'm not trying to, when they do like those, they're like, oh, I just did this nollie, blah, blah, blah. And like the board goes up like 1.5 feet. You're just like, oh man.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So I feel like someone who's skateboarded, they wouldn't do stuff like that. They naturally want to see like they want to see a trick land, like how they would land it in real life,
Yeah. Hell yeah. As far as because I know we talked about like your early fingerboards, like the piece of wood that you were kind of shaping into a board, talked about tech decks and stuff, but talk to me a little bit about when fingerboarding started to come back into your life, because it seems like when your Instagram popped up around 2016, and it seems like you were already kind of established. I mean, because you were posting Beast Pants right away, Woobs right away. So talk to me about those early days of like hopping on Instagram. What was it like at that time? Because now I think it's fair to say that a lot of people would consider Instagram like one of the best places to kind of connect with other fingerboarders and post your clips and stuff like that. But in that time in 2016, what was it like on Instagram? How was it like growing on there and becoming part of the community?
Well, I started with my personal account, Gut Rocker, which was, I started there in like 2015 to late 2014.
Okay.
So that's where I used to just always post everything on there. And then as that account started to get more popular with, more fingerboarders than actual friends and real life stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I better make myself like a more personal account. What I mean? Like
more
one for
fingerboard.
fingerboarding account than my personal. So that's when I ended up making the OG Fingers account. And when I did that, I was just like, okay, I'm just going to make an account that just like focuses on me just posting my collection of boards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And honestly, a lot of the time, I got really lucky on getting a lot of Beast Pants boards in the early days just because of his events. I mean, I could just buy them in person.
Yeah.
You just have them available. And let's see here. I'm losing my train of thought.
Oh, yeah, no worries. More so about like becoming a part of the community. I mean, because yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, it's one thing to kind of find it online, but also too, I feel like you were in right place, right time, because you were a part of so many events that a lot of people.
So pretty much, yeah, the Instagram days, I ended up starting the OG Fingers account.
Yeah.
And then, you just get on like one person's page and then it's like, oh, this is, this person has this out. This person has this. You end up just, finding, accounts that way. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
As far as for the in-person community though, because obviously, again, you were around, I mean, you were going to events with like when Yana was doing the catfish thing and growing it to what it is now. Christian was doing Collier, like in the early days of all these brands. I think we talked about it earlier, but like also too, like Chubby Muffin was at some of these events. Like, so you were kind of like right in the thick of it.
So yeah, like the first event I ever went to was one of Beast Pants events. And
was that in LA or where was that?
That was in Pomona. He used to have like a warehouse where they'd have like, I think like music shows and stuff like that.
That was sick.
So that was the very first event I went to, and that's where you see Catfish there, you see like Chetty there, pretty much, just pretty much the scene. Which, honestly, it was like a more. The scene was smaller then, so you could feel like more of like a family, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Because now it's like it's so large, it's just like I feel like I go to an event nowadays, I'm just like a diplomat or something. I'm just like bouncing around trying to see where I fit in and stuff,
Yeah.
When before it's like I just fit in, it's like a whole scene. And it's like pretty pretty much do those events. That's where I met Nash, and then he had the Sorry for Fingerboard events. He already had them going.
Yeah.
At the time, I think I went to like his third one.
Okay.
And I made it to the second Beast Pants. And then, yeah, Catfish had a couple events. He still has the best event that I ever went to this day, and that was the Sessions LA.
Okay.
Which was right downtown LA. It was just like in some like art building or whatnot.
Hell yeah.
It was pretty wild. People were skateboarding in there. It just felt like it. I don't know. It was a different vibe.
Hell yeah. And then, so, you had Yana doing the Catfish events. You had Chris doing the Beast Pants events. Nash doing the Sorry events. Talk to me a little bit about the decision to start doing your own events. Because from what I understand, you did a couple events. Was it in Big Bear?
Yeah, I started Fingerboard in Big Bear. I did it for a few years. Pretty much the way only reason I started wanting to do my own events because before fingerboarding, I was like really into RC cars.
Okay.
And I have a lot of land at my house, so I have like a big track.
Okay.
I mean, the track looks beat up nowadays, but I have a big track, and I used to have RC potlucks.
Okay.
So through the potlucks, we would have, like 50 to 100 people show up and just have these crazy potlucks. So I was just like, well, why not transition from potlucks to fingerboard events? And where I live in I live between Joshua Tree and 29 Palms.
Yeah.
And where I live out there, it's super hot. And we always go to Big Bear Lake on the weekends because it's about an hour drive.
Okay.
So I was like, yeah, it would be cool to, fingerboard in Big Bear. So I started having events up there. I had them for like 3 years. And then COVID kind of stopped it.
Okay.
So, and then I ended up having a kid during COVID. And then that's pretty much what stopped those events. But those events were really fun. I mean, it was just cool, a different vibe.
Yeah.
It was a different scene. I mean, 80% of the people are different, from that used to go to events then and now. So
yeah.
There's a few people that linger around still, mostly people that own like stuff,
Yeah, own companies. What would you say is the biggest difference in your mind between like those older events to events now, like the most recent event you've been to?
Probably just like the welcomeness. Like, I'm not saying the events nowadays aren't welcoming.
Yeah.
It's just, they're just so large and just like, they're like kind of a little overwhelming at times.
Okay.
Like I had a friend of mine, he lives out here in Whittier actually, and he showed up to the event and he could only last like 20 minutes before he had to go just because he just felt so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And this is like somebody that was just like goes to events all the time. But like I was like a little overwhelmed like when I went to your first Shreddermania, like from the other events. But like I started warming up, getting to know different people, you know what I mean? And I mean, I enjoy them.
That was your first event back. You were telling me Shreddermania 1. So
Shreddermania 1 was like the first event that I went back to, yeah.
After taking some time off, like after COVID.
Yeah, during COVID, I ended up just like, I had a kid and I was just been pretty much going to Disneyland all the time.
But
then I was just like, I kept on seeing all the events pop up at Slush Cult, and I was a little unsure at first. I was like, I don't know, is that place cool, And then it was just like, I just took going there to find out, yes, it is cool.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
It's like, it's good, cool. The vibes are good. I mean, I've enjoyed myself at those events. Yeah, it's a little overwhelming, yeah, but I think my favorite thing about going to events there, though, honestly, is the food that you can buy around the locations, because there's that, like, was it like the 4th Street Mall or one of those?
4th Street Market has tons of good food.
There's so much good food options.
What do you think about Lucy's?
That's the pizza place, right?
Pizza place.
It's good. It reminds me of my hometown pizza place, Rocky's Pizza, so very similar. If I need to use the restroom, I'll buy a slice.
I was about to say. And, thinking about it, I'm like, damn, we shouldn't have mentioned Lucy's, because now I'm just like, there's so many times where I think to myself, like, I should just drive to Lucy's and get a pizza. But it's like, man, 35-minute drive for some pizza? I'm like, But every time
I was about to drive 2 hours to go to a Foster Freeze because the one closed in my town.
That's crazy.
I was looking at the Whataburger from my house, and I was like, because I never had it, and I've heard people talk about it, and I was like, I just want to try it.
Yeah.
And then I seen you guys stop at one in like Arizona, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
There's one in Arizona. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would drive for food. I have a gut. I drive for donuts.
Oh yeah, we're thick boys.
There's like my favorite donut shop. It's right up here off Franklin and LA, and like right in Hollywood. So
damn, we might have to stop and get
donuts.
Some. Might have to fucking get some donuts after the pod.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna
go for a donut. Donuts. Hell yeah. As far as for now, kind of slowly transitioning to talk about like the company and stuff like that. When does in starting your events, right? When does OG Fingers kind of come into play? Or not so much OG Fingers, we'll get to the name, but when does the idea of you wanting to do obstacles come into play? How does that kind of factor into the story?
Well, It all started with the Beast Pants events, I have to admit.
Okay.
Before then, I was like, all my obstacles at that point were mostly like Black River obstacles or some like homemade ones I would make from like mini materials type stuff. And then I ended up shredding his squid park, like a famous fingerboard park he made back in the day.
Yeah.
And he had like sections of like brick on there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Texture and stuff. And that really got me. I was like, oh boy, I need some cement in my life for fingerboarding. It's like way different feeling.
Yeah.
So then after I got that, I got home, and then there was somebody that used to sell cement obstacles back in the day called NPR Crete.
Okay.
His name was Richie, and he had a lot of obstacles, very affordable obstacles, fast shipping. Everything was super clean. I wish he was still around. I don't know why he ended up. I think just family or whatnot. He ended up quitting, but I ended up buying obstacles off of him, and then basically when I did that squid park, I was just like, I need to make my own park.
Hell yeah.
So when I started making my own parks, I was like, oh man, I can't be doing like trying to make transition with cement. Like I was like decent with working with cement.
Right.
But you were trying to sit there and like copy the same, that's when I was like, I need to start molding my own pieces so I can make, like, because I originally just wanted to make parks. I didn't want to like sell obstacles.
Yeah.
But then I was like, well, I need to make some obstacles for my parks. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if you look on like my early stages, I just started making like quarter pipes and stuff like that. And I would glue them onto cement and make like parks that way. And then people started asking me, they're like, whoa, can you bring some of your obstacles to the next Beast Pants event? So I started bringing them to there, and then like people would want to buy them. And I was a little skeptical at first about wanting to sell online because I was just a little nervous. Like, man, I don't know if people are going to like want to return it, or am I going to get ripped off? So I ended up just one day, it was just like on like Thanksgiving 2016. I was like, I'm just going to start a site and start selling obstacles. But I got this.
What is this,
This right here actually was the first mold I ever bought. That got me into like, I bought this mold and I was like, oh, okay, this is how they make obstacles. I bought that mold off somebody online back in the day.
Yeah, this is a curb, right?
Yeah, this is like the first curve I made, and I put some bricks from like the mini things on there.
Yeah, yeah. So this came from this.
Yeah, that was like the first like obstacle I made that wasn't this like all, crazy looking. I mean, it looks crazy looking to me now because it's like,
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of history behind here too. This is actually really sick.
I've probably made thousands of curbs with that mold.
Hell yeah. I mean, and not to jump too far ahead, but one of the questions from the internet is somebody asked if you make your own molds. Is that something you eventually dive into?
Basically, all the way up until 2016, till out the beginning of this year, all my obstacles I made were just like, I would make them out of wood.
Yeah.
And you'd buy dollhouse brick from like Hobby Lobby.
Yeah.
They sell like the brick sheets.
Yeah.
And then so you basically just whatever ramp you can come up with. And this was like this is the first like kicker I ever made.
Really?
That was like, I still sell it today, and I still make it from this.
So is that the grasshoppers?
Yeah, this was like, I seen this right here. I was just like, held it up in the air. I was like, yeah, want to buy me a Corvette. No,
that's the one, man. That's great. You know what's funny? Side story. I didn't realize up until last night when I was doing a deep dive on your Instagram, one of my first ever Crete obstacles was made by you. I didn't know it though at the time. When I first started, I was buying stuff on OfferUp, just random stuff. And I went to Santa Monica and I met with some like random little kid. This is when I first joined. So like I felt weird that I was like a grown up going to meet like this kid on OfferUp. And he sold me a Black River rail, and he sold me almost like it was like a mani pad, and it had the brick texture on top. And I was scrolling through your Instagram last night and I saw a picture of it and I was like, holy shit.
Manny Packer, maybe?
Yeah. And so it was just one of those things where I'm like, dude, had no idea. Awesome.
Oh, in the box of treasures, I also have a board that from the...
What is this?
Oh, this is a board that Berlin Wood made for my event, for the Finger Forest events.
Oh, that's sick. And you just kept one?
I just kept one, yeah.
Dude.
It's pretty cool, though.
That's actually sick. Was it laser engraved that? That's actually super fire. Dude, gotta get that framed. Love that. As far as so people are asking you to bring your obstacles to events, right? You start bringing your obstacles to events. When does the name come in? Talk to me about the name OG Fingers. Is that like the brand name? Is that your like personal like Instagram, or how did we land on OG Fingers?
Honestly, at the time when I was trying to come up with a new name for an account, I just didn't have anything. I couldn't think of anything, and I was just like, well, I'm old. I mean, I'm about to turn 48. So, I mean, I was already in this. When I got into this, I was already older, so. And then I had been doing it so long, I was just like, well, I'm kind of an OG, I guess. And then OG Fingers it is.
Okay. Was your thought process so like this is the company name?
No,
like
there was no process. It was only gonna be an account that was basically that just showed my collection of fingerboards. I had never had any intentions of even selling obstacles or starting a company or anything. It just kind of just happened that, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Was there ever a thought in your mind though, like once you did start selling ramps, stuff like that, did you ever think like, let me name the company?
Yes, I wanted to rename it like Caveman Creek. And then I was just going to start a new account and just like put like a little caveman guy and then just...
Caveman Creek, that's actually sick.
Just kind of just start fresh from there.
Hell yeah. For a long time, and I think we talked about this earlier, for a long time, I don't think that I realized that OG Fingers was like... I never tied the Crete and the page together because it kind of feels like a name of like just like that somebody picked, like Crazy Fingers or whatever people use. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like in any way like that's kind of like something you wish you can go back and do, like go with Caveman Creed or something like that, or are you just content with how the name worked out?
I think I'm fine with the name OG Fingers because when I first started, there wasn't a lot of companies, and I kind of got real popular really quick with that account. Like,
really?
Yeah, I mean, someone that never had any social media presence, and then all of a sudden I'm getting all these likes and, everybody boosting your ego and stuff. It was kind of a weird thing.
Hell yeah.
And so, yeah, on that, yeah, pretty much. I'm happy with the name that I chose, but it probably hurts me a little bit. Sometimes I wonder if people get it mixed up with like the cannabis world or something, like, oh, that pothead or something.
Oh, I can kind of see that. Maybe. Well, there you go. OG Fingers. As far as for your first obstacle, or like the first time that you started selling stuff, what was that moment like? And I think we talked about it earlier, like that it really kind of like set in motion, like a bunch of people checking you out and you kind of started selling ramps.
Well, yeah, it was like 2016. I was already getting popular from just posting obstacles because I would just post like parks and obstacles.
Right.
So I kind of built up a lot of that first. And before I even sold anything, and then like I made the decision to sell, and it went really well at first. It was going. I had I would say 2016 to like 2020. It was like my best years.
Tell me about the Kelsey video.
Okay, the Kelsey fingerboards. She ended up buying one of my ramps, the 321 obstacle, and she made a really good video saying like, "Is this the best concrete ramp ever?"
Yeah.
And I feel like that gave me a lot of friction at the time because she was super popular.
Yeah.
I mean, she was probably like the main, I feel like she was before Chubby Muffin. But she was like the main fingerboard influencer, I feel like, for YouTube at the time, or Instagram, or one of them. So I feel like she kind of fueled my account with that video.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, Kelsey. I wish you well. I know you don't fingerboard no more. Or
yeah.
I don't even know what she's doing. She's kind of a mystery now.
Yeah, I think she's doing like fitness influencing. Could be wrong, but that's the last I think I've heard on that. But yeah, shout out Kelsey. I wish she would post some more fingerboard stuff.
Yeah, she was the OG.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Her and Geraldine that owns the Teak Tuning.
Oh yeah.
She used to post videos a long time ago.
Dude.
That was like the second board I bought was her Pro Model from Northwoods.
Dang.
I actually have another backup brand new one of
some
it too.
Geraldine lore on the pod.
She's old school. She definitely deserves to be where she's at.
Oh heck yeah. Shout out Teak. As far as for your process of making obstacles, do you feel like there was a lot of trial and error going into it, or did you immediately kind of hit the ground like, I know that I want these obstacles to look and feel a certain way, and you just kind of ran with it?
I feel like with that first brick kicker, I kind of got lucky because then I was like, oh, I can just put brick sheets on stuff and the mold's going to come out perfect. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's already perfectly made. So there was trials and error. You know, like the concrete mix at first was kind of tough.
Yeah.
Because you didn't really know, and it was really just getting lucky at Home Depot, and I just like looked at the bag of cement and I just see someone that's like mold pouring. I was like, well, there you go. Because before that, I would use like different kinds of like Portland cement and like different stuff, like had like aggregate in it and stuff, and it would just be a pain in the butt to work with.
Yeah.
So once I figured out like the perfect cement especially for the molds, it was just like, and then like the perfect ratio of water and the mix and stuff. Everything after that was pretty easy.
Hell yeah. And just knowing the type of like your personality type of dude that you are, do you feel like you ever truly, like, do you ever feel content like I have this dialed in? Or do you kind of feel like you're constantly trying to evolve the process to get better, whether it's like strengthening the creed or just, you know, make it last longer or anything like that?
Well, I think the process and strengthening the creed, that's pretty much, that's already figured out. At this point, it's just always trying to reinvent yourself. You know what I mean?
Right.
If like, because I didn't do anything for, like, I was pretty strong in the beginning, and then I just kind of fell off for many years. Kind of like, I guess, when you started came in the scene, I was like in fall off land and going to Disneyland and stuff. And really the beginning of this year is when I was like, if I want to keep this going, I better, you know, do something a little bit more serious. You know what I mean? But as far as the process of doing the obstacles, I mean, if you look on I probably have like, up until this year, I've probably made like 50 obstacles out of wood. And it got to the point where it was just like, man, the ideas were starting to get stretched out.
Yeah.
And not to mention, not only your ideas on what you can make or what you can ship that's heavy.
Yeah.
Because the shipping of cement, it's gotten so expensive. Like when I first started, I started with priority mail, and it would be like a large box was like $12. That thing's $27 now.
Yeah.
And then it's like they don't even cover the insurance no more. You know what I mean? They make it really hard for you. So I've had to recently switch in shipping.
Damn, that's crazy. Yeah, because I've had some nightmares where boxes come and it's just like total dust.
Oh yeah, you'll make something perfect, and I actually feel like stuff really never really breaks that often. You'd be surprised. I'd get really worried though when I'm at my post office dropping off boxes, and I just see the lady just grab the box. I mean, you could put like 10 rolls of caution tape around it. She's still gonna throw it.
She's still gonna toss it.
So it's like, yeah.
How do you so I mean, because scrolling through your page, you have an insane amount of obstacles. Like, you know, where some companies would have, you know, 10, you know, or just a couple that they kind of switch between. It seems like you have tons of obstacles. So like, what's the design process like, and how do you essentially decide what you're actually gonna pursue as far as like making a mold and then start pouring it and start selling it?
Well, first off, it's always gotta be, what's the size? You know, is that something I can fix, you know, fit to ship? Yeah. So you always kind of have to like, everything revolves around the size of it, because there's tons of stuff I would like to make, but the sizing, that's why nowadays I'll start making like these different fun boxes that you can kind of like put together, and then it makes something big. Okay. But pretty much just dealing with the size has been...
Yeah, getting the scale right, because the scale feels perfect. And even like the pieces that are modular and stuff like that, that's so sick. Being able to move it around the table and everything like that.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just dealing with the size of everything, and the weight has just been the main issue. And then the creative side, I mean, I watch like a lot of YouTube videos of just, you know, constant like skaters, you know, like Dan Corrigan. Yeah. Spencer News. Is it Newsy or News? I always forget his last name, but... Newsy. I'll watch a lot of their videos where they just hit skate parks randomly and just watch skate videos just all day long at my house and just on YouTube, and all of a sudden you'll be like, there it is.
There it is.
You know what I mean? You spot that right design. You know what I mean? You're like, that's possible.
Hell yeah. Do you have a favorite obstacle that you've made? Like out of all the ones you've made, is there a specific obstacle that you can look to and say like, this is my favorite? I'm the most proud of this one.
Probably the quarter barrier, just because it's my best seller.
The quarter barrier.
I should have brought you one, but yeah, I mean, that's the one that's like...
That has brick texture
keeps me going.
Too,
yeah,
right?
it's like, it's just like a street barrier that has a brick quarter pipe attached to it.
Would you say that that's in a lot of ways like a signature piece of yours? Something that if you see, you're immediately like...
Yeah, I'd say that was probably the main one.
Hell yeah. how do you decide essentially what you're going to 3D print only and what you're going to pour? Because I noticed that you do, I mean, because you do a lot of Crete, but you also do tons of 3D printed stuff. Is there like a process where you're like, this is going to be Crete, this is going to stay 3D printed? Like, is it like a size barrier, or what is that? What does that look like?
Well, the thing about the 3D printed stuff is like, you think you're just going to 3D print it and mold it. No, there's a lot of work entailed. Like, you really got to sand down that print. You got to get it smooth. So, and then another thing, it's like what's going to break the fragile points.
Right.
Because you can 3D print something, you're like, oh, okay, that obstacle's cool, you know.
Yeah.
It has like stuff that has like floating shelves, or you're going to have to do like, or anything you have to do like a 2-part mold. Pretty much kind of want to stick where you can do a like more simpler mold, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But really it's a size thing. I would like to just mold everything, but and mold material has gotten so expensive.
And so at this point you are making your own molds.
Oh, I've made all my own molds.
Oh, okay, sick. Yeah, cause see the questions from the internet, a lot of people had questions about if you make your own molds or if you buy them.
If you want to learn how to make molding, it's just go to any smooth on video on YouTube. Basically, I learned everything about mold making on YouTube.
Hell yeah. Do you feel like because when you first started making Crete, who were some of the bigger Crete brands at the time?
Jeez, there was really nobody. There was like NPR Crete. The Vaudeville guy was making sidewalks at the time.
Okay.
There was like wired ramps, but he was making them out of like ceramic or something.
Right.
There was that one dude from Germany. I can't think of his name. He's like a more popular over there, concrete guy. Mm-hmm. I think Level Ledges started around like a little bit before me when the original owner, Jared, owned it.
Okay. Right.
So there really wasn't much. There wasn't nobody making like stuff with brick print. There was like, I remember I was just looking out on Google one day and I seen like somebody who made ramps like in the early 2000s or late 2000s, and he made like some really cool brick looking ramps. You know what I mean? And like I was like, that's what I kind of want to make something like that.
Hell yeah.
And then that's kind of where I developed myself. And then I skated a lot in Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
So it's like
kind
people lived there back in the 90s, late 90s and stuff, early 2000s. That people call it Brick City or whatnot because like all the sidewalks are brick and stuff.
That's awesome.
So that's kind of where I got like the brick, you know.
Like overlaying the brick and everything?
Stuff, you know what I mean?
There you go. A little inspiration from the city. Okay, a little bit of a touchy question here for as a brand owner who does Crete, right? So I think that you're the third person I've had on the pod that does obstacles, second person that does Crete. And I asked this person, so I'm curious to see your opinion on this. With so many obstacles, especially Crete obstacles, with the brands taking their inspiration directly from stuff you find in the wild, right? Something as simple as a sidewalk or a trash can or a bench. Do you feel like any one company can claim ownership of a design as simple as a trash can, a sidewalk, or just anything like that?
No. I mean, the stuff's out there. If you want to make it. Feel free. If you want to sell it, feel free. If you want to make anything that looks like my stuff, just tag me and say I was inspired by OG Fingers. That's my only thing. I've had people copy a lot of my stuff over the years. Yeah. And it's like, I'm not like too upset about it, but it's like, if you can just like give me like a little inspiration boost.
A little cred.
For my ego.
Yeah, a little
for my
cred.
sad little ego sometimes, that would definitely help. But as far as in this, it's like, yeah, you're not going to every skate park and you don't see skaters from one town being like, hey, that's our spine. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's open game, just like fingerboards are. I mean, I feel like it should be open.
Okay.
I mean, if you make something direct copy, but even then again, it's just like, just give me like a shout out at least, you know, just be like, oh, I was inspired by this person.
Okay. Fair enough. I like that. I wanted to ask you in regards to, and I know you kind of mentioned it right now, but, you know, one thing I've noticed and that I've seen is, and we've talked about this earlier, but like, I guess like those moments where you kind of feel like undervalued or like that your company should be doing better. Talk to me a little bit about that. Cause I have seen the post and, you know, and then they're gone.
Well, it's like when it comes to fingerboarding, I never intended to be like, oh, I want to start a company. You know what I mean? I want to be like, so basically like, I'll get sad. Yeah. It's like, I'll come out with something that I worked hard on for, a while. And like, you get the design in your head, you make it, you sand it down, you glue it to the wood, you mold it, you do all these steps to get it to where you can take a picture of it. And then it's like, you'll get like a great response. People are like, oh, that's amazing. That's great. And then the worst is all the DMs you get of people who are like, when is it going to drop? Like those people never buy anything.
Right.
The DM people that DM to say they're going to buy stuff is like,
never come through.
I appreciate you looking out and all that stuff, but those never come to fruition or not. But where was I going with that?
As far as for talking about,
sorry, I've been losing my train of thought a little bit on this podcast.
It's all right.
That's what happens as you get older.
It's the Bigspin Podcast. Glasses. No, it was more so we're just talking about in regards to stealing your ideas but giving you credit. You know what I mean? Or just kind of being cool with it. And then we started moving over towards sometimes the posts are a little sad. And
the sad post. See, I'm sad already thinking about it. No. It's just that you'll get like, I just get sad. It's just like, just with anybody. It's like, I'm sure like the podcast, you'd be like, you look at your view count and I'm sure you're happy with it, but I'm sure you'd be happy if you had 100,000 views or you'd be happy. Yeah. You just always want to do better. You just like, especially if you're a business owner, you just want to feel successful. And it's like,
hell yeah.
It's a real roller coaster ride because there's times I'm successful for weeks and I feel great, feeling good, and then it'll be like a couple of weeks where the orders start to slow down, which is always in the summer. It's like I shouldn't really judge my business in the summer because I feel like people get trapped indoors in the cold part of the States.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you get more orders, through like the winter months and stuff. And then like summer hits, everybody's like, I want to go outside.
Heck yeah.
So, but I get sad. It gets a little emotional, but honestly, I shouldn't post anything the first 5 minutes I wake up. It's like,
I know.
I'll just wake up. I must have had a bad dream. And then it's like, I'll look at my, let's see if I got any orders. And it'll be like, no orders. And then I'll just I'll start thinking about it. And then it's like, sometimes you get caught up comparing yourself to others.
Yeah.
You're just like, you look at what they're making and you look what you're making. And you're just like, I think what I'm making looks a little cooler.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, they got the golden touch. They got the Illuminati push. You know what I mean?
Dude,
that's what I feel like.
Push.
The one was like, give me that 1%, please. You know what I mean?
And
but
listen,
usually I will take those posts down. They only last for like 3 hours. I'm good for maybe one every 30 days, every 60 days. I'll have my emo moment. I'm just like, oh, I hate myself.
And you know what? I asked, not to put you on blast totally, but I asked because I feel like that's an aspect of doing content or doing a business that like a lot of people don't talk about because it is a real feeling. Like sometimes you do feel like, shit, I worked really hard on this video and it flopped by your own standards. Or like companies when they are super hyped on a drop and then they go and they drop and then it's like, oh, I sold two boards.
It could be sad because when I used to drop obstacles back when I first started, I was always getting there wasn't a lot of companies. There was maybe 4 or 5 concrete guys out there. So even if the response wasn't the greatest, I would still always sell I do a drop and sell a dozen or more.
Okay.
And then it's nowadays I'll do a drop and it's it's so hit and miss. That's why buying molding material is so expensive and you're I literally have probably got 100 obstacles I can mold right now. Yeah. And you're just okay, which one's going to win? You know what I mean? And it's I'll mold one thing and it's that particular one hit. And then I'll mold the next thing and it's okay, well, that was a flop. And then all of a sudden that flop starts hitting a month later.
Right.
So
all this to say though, if someone was just starting their own brand, their own Creed company, their own just anything, deck company, what are some tips to kind of counteract those feelings that you find
what were your original intentions? My original intentions was if I can make something and make some money and support my hobby, I'm completely okay with it. You know what I mean? And it still does it to this day. My hobby supports my hobby. In fact, this hobby also supports other hobbies RC cars and stuff. It's
hell yeah.
It supports Disneyland money. You know what I mean? It buys me souvenirs. So I'm really, everybody who buys stuff off me, it's you're helping me, support my hobbies. Churros. I'm not buying Corvettes. I'm not doing anything cool like that, but definitely it supports the hobby. So anything I buy for myself or money that I put back into the company as far as in, buying stuff. So it supports the hobby. So if you're getting into it and you want to support your own hobby, that's where, you'll be fine. If you're getting into thinking you're going to make $1 million, well,
yeah,
get ready for that roller coaster ride of emotions.
Looking back at the early days of OG Fingers, as far as like obstacles and stuff like that, what were some of the toughest challenges of running a company that you didn't see coming?
Just dealing with like, it doesn't happen often, but you'd like get orders, like sometimes even large orders where people would like, they would buy something and it's obviously like a scammer or something, because then all of a sudden they're like, oh, he didn't send me what I ordered, and then it's like PayPal will just take their side. So
damn,
just dealing with getting ripped off by people out there, that kind of sucks. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen from time to time.
That's a bummer. That's like stealing from a small
because like
business.
you're working hard, you know what I mean. You feel all good about it. You box it up. I take pictures of it before I send it.
Damn,
and then it's just like, oh, this person sent it to the wrong address, or this person sent it to this, or
that's crazy.
Just breaks your heart.
Yeah. Do you have any collabs coming up or anything like that, as far as like dropping an obstacle with someone, or just like anything you're looking forward to as far as like, or maybe even a dream collab that you would like to work with, like a shop?
Oh, dream collab? Anything flat face.
Damn. That'd be
get into
sick.
that. Get that Illuminati punch from the get go.
I know, dude.
I actually just had him follow me for like the first time like a month ago, and it was just like the highlight of my fingerboard.
I was about to say, doesn't it feel surreal?
Oh, dude, I was just like, he just posted something, and I was like, hey, can I send you one of my desk organizers?
Yeah.
And he was like, sure. He never gave me his address, but he followed me, and he said, yeah, so I felt so good about that, because I mean, I feel like he was responsible for me even where I am now, because that's like